Okay, we are going to talk about tax, tip, commission, and discount today. And you have already learned about percent proportions, so this should be pretty easy. First, let's talk about some vocabulary. And you've probably heard of most of these words, but let's talk about vocabulary for the word sales tax. If you've ever gone shopping or gone to a store, you'll probably realize that if you buy something that's $20, when you get to the register, your total is a little more than $20. And that is because you have to pay what's called sales tax. And sales tax, if you've noticed, it makes your bill go up. So sales tax is an amount added to a shopping bill. An amount added to a shopping bill. And a discount is an amount taken away from the price of an item. If you've ever received a discount on something, you'll notice that it makes your bill go down because you get like a 50% off or a 20% off. You get a discount on the price of the item. A tip is something that you would give if you've gone out to eat. You've probably given a tip. You give a tip to your server, and you may have noticed that a tip makes your bill amount go up. So a tip is an amount added to a bill for a service. A tip is usually if you receive a service. The one you're probably most familiar with is going out to eat and having a server serve you your food, but if you got your hair cut, you might tip your hair person, your hair salon lady, or if you get your nails done, you might give them a tip or something like that, but it's usually for a service. Commission is an amount added to your paycheck. And commission is usually a position where you get like a base salary, so you might make, $1,000 just for going to work, and then you would get extra on top of that $1,000 based on what you sold, and it's usually in a percent form. And if you notice, all of these things involve doing some kind of math after the percent proportion is done. For example, the sales tax is an amount added to the shopping bill, so obviously we would add for that. The discount is an amount taken away from a shopping bill, so obviously we would subtract for that. A tip is an amount added, so we would add. And a commission is an amount added, so we would add. And since all of these are in percent form, of course we're going to use our percent proportion that we've already talked about, that is part over whole equals percent over 100. So we would do our percent proportion to figure out our sales tax, our discount, our tip, or our commission, and then we would add or subtract depending on what the question was asking about. So let's move on and talk about our notes. First, let's talk about sales tax. And we already discussed it some, but sales tax is an additional amount of money charged on items that people buy. The total cost of an item is the regular price plus the sales tax. So depending on what the question is asking, you may or may not have to add, but we would need to add to find the total cost. So in our first example, it says a graphic calculator costs $90 and the sales tax is 8%. What is the amount of sales tax? What is the total cost of the calculator? So in this case, it's actually asking us two different questions. So let's deal with the first question first. What is the amount of sales tax? So since sales tax is in percent form, 8%, we are going to set up our percent proportion that we've already learned about. So the 8 is easy. That obviously goes in the percent spot since it's attached to a percent sign. But then we have to figure out, is the 90 the part or the whole? Well, when we're talking about sales tax, the whole is always the amount before sales tax. So basically your whole bill before tax. So in this case, the 90 would be the whole, and the part would be X since that's what we're looking for. So of course we cross multiply to solve and set up an equation. 100x equals 8 times 90. 100x equals 720. Then we would divide by 100, and we would get that X is $7.20. So $7.20 is just the amount of sales tax. It's obviously not going to be your whole bill because it's less than the 90. You started with 90, so you have to pay the 90 plus the sales tax. So for the total cost of the calculator, we would add the calculator plus the sales tax. So in order to leave the store that day, you would have to pay $97.20. I'd like you to pause the video now and do example 2 on your own. Okay, so let's check your example 2. We're talking about sales tax and there's a percent, so we're going to set up a percent proportion. So the 7.25 is easy because it's the percent. And then the 15 is going to be the whole because it's the whole cost of the umbrella before tax. Then we're going to put an X in the part. Cross multiply. We get 100X equals 15 times 7.25. 100X equals 108.75. So whenever we divide by 100, we get X equals 1.0875. Now, since we're talking about money, whenever we're talking about sales tax, we need this 8 to be the last digit. So we look at the 7 and it tells us to round up. So we're actually going to use $1.09 as our sales tax. So then to find the total cost of the umbrella, $1.09 doesn't make sense. We would have to take the original $15 and add $1.09. So to get out of the store with the umbrella, you would pay $16.09. So now let's talk about discount. Discount is the amount by which the regular price of an item is reduced. So the sale price is the regular price minus the discount. So let's look at example 3. A CD that has a regular price of $20 is on sale at a 25% discount. What is the sale price of the CD? So percent and discount tell us that we're going to do a percent proportion. The 25 goes in the percent. And just like with our tax, our discount for our whole amount, it's the whole price before the discount. So the whole price of the CD before discount is $20. X goes in our part. We cross multiply and we get 100X equals 20 times 25. 100X equals 500. So then when we divide by 100, X is $5. But $5 isn't the cost of our CD. $5 is going to be the amount of the discount. So to find the sale price, which is what it's asking for, we actually have to take $20 and subtract 5 from it. So we're actually going to pay $15 for the CD. I'd like you to pause the video now so that you can do example 4 on your own. Okay, now that you've done example 4, let's check it. It says a t-shirt at the mall costs $15. It is on sale for 30% off. What is the sale price? So we are going to set up a percent proportion since we're talking about sale and there's a percent. 30 obviously goes in the percent, and then the whole price before discount is $15. So X, the part, is what we're trying to find. We cross multiply, we get 100X equals 15 times 30. So 100X equals 450. So when we divide by 100, we get that X is $4.50. Now $4.50 is not the amount I'm going to pay for the t-shirt. It's this discount amount. So to find the sale price, I'm going to take the original $15 and I'm going to subtract the discount from it. So I would actually only pay $10.50 for the t-shirt. Example 5 is a little different, so let's do that one together. A pair of jeans is regularly $40, but John has a coupon for 25% off. How much did John save with his coupon? So in this case, it's not asking us for the sale price, it's asking us how much did he save. So we actually don't have to subtract in this case. We do need to set up a percent proportion, however, because we're talking about discount and there's a percent. 25 goes in the percent, and 40 is the whole amount before the discount. We would cross multiply and get 100x equals 40 times 25. 100x equals 1,000. Then we divide by 100. And x is $10. In this case, it's just asking for how much did he save, which he saved $10. That was the discount amount, so we do not need to subtract. Okay, let's look at the next examples, which are about tip. Tip is an amount added to a bill for a service. The total cost is the bill amount plus the tip amount. So let's look at example 6. A restaurant bill comes to $42.50. The Miller family wants to leave a 20% tip. What is the total amount of money the Miller family spent at the restaurant? So since we're talking about percent and tip, we're going to set up a percent proportion. It's the same way all of our other percent proportions have been set up. So our percent is easy, it's 20. And just like with our sales tax and our discount, the whole amount is the whole bill before our tip. So $42.50 goes in the whole portion of our percent proportion. Then we would cross multiply. 100x equals 42.50 times 20. 100x equals 850. Then we divide by 100, and we get x is $8.50. Now, that's the amount of tip they're going to leave. If your bill is $42.50, you're not just going to leave $8.50 and leave. You're going to have to leave your tip plus the original amount of the bill in order to pay for your food. So we need to add these together to figure out what our total bill is going to be. So we get $51 in order to leave the restaurant. Now I'd like you to pause the video and do example 7 on your own. Okay, so you should have completed example 7, but let's go over it together to make sure that you got it correct. We're going to leave a 25% tip, and in this case, it's just asking how much was the tip. It's not asking for the entire bill. We're still going to do our percent proportion the same way, but we're not going to have to add at the end. So let's set up our percent proportion. 25 is our percent amount, and $52 is our whole amount before tip. The part, x, the amount of the tip, is what we're trying to find. So then we would cross multiply, and we get 100x equals 52 times 25. 100x equals 1,300. We would divide by 100, and we would get that x is $13. And since it's just asking for the tip amount, you can stop there. Your answer is $13. Okay, now let's talk about commission. Commission is an additional amount of earnings based on the amount sold. The total amount earned is the base salary plus commission, so we would add for commission like we put on our vocabulary. Example 8. An employee at the print shop makes $8 per hour and works for 40 hours this week. He also earns a 5% commission on the paper he sells. He sold $500 of paper. What are his total earnings this week? So first we need to calculate his weekly salary just based on his hours because he would make that no matter what he sold. So we would multiply 40 times 8 because he worked 40 hours at $8 per hour, and we would get $320. So he's going to make $320 even if he sells nothing. But then he's going to make an additional commission of 5%. Since it's a percent, we're going to do a percent proportion. Our percent is easy, it's 5. And just like with all of our other percent proportions we've learned about today, the whole amount is the amount that you're going to earn commission on. So if he sold $500, $500 would be the whole amount sold, and the part would be the part of commission that he would receive. So we'd cross multiply. 100x equals 500 times 5. 100x equals 2,500. Divide by 100, and we get $25. So he's going to earn his regular $320 plus an additional $25. So for his total earnings, we would add 320 plus 325 and get $345. That would be his paycheck for the week. I'd like you to pause the video now and complete example 9 on your own. Okay, let's check example 9. It's going to be a commission problem because it has 10% and it says commission. And then it also, we don't have to calculate anything for her regular salary because it says she earns $1,200. So she's going to get paid $1,200 no matter what. Then she would earn commission on the $24,000 she sold. So we would make a percent proportion using the percent of 10. And the whole amount she sold would be $24,000. X is our part. 100x equals 24,000 times 10. 100x equals 240,000. We divide by 100. And the additional amount she's going to earn is actually quite a bit. It's $2,400. So the total amount of her paycheck is going to be the $1,200 she gets just for working there, plus the additional $2,400 she earns for selling the $24,000. So her paycheck would actually be $3,600.